Hi, and welcome to Advanced Pilates Mat Detailed Instruction. During this video, I'm going to be taking you through the new advanced mat exercises only. So we will be breaking these down. Once you feel proficient with these, then please go ahead and participate with the advanced Pilates mat flow video. Now, I would highly recommend that you do something to warm your body up before beginning this video because we are going to be jumping right in. So, the first two exercises that I'm going to take you through are called scissors in the air and bicycle in the air. So they are going to be a combination of exercises that you've previously learned, the jackknife as well as scissors. So let's talk about these. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be having my legs in the air to start. So I want you to decide if you feel comfortable working in neutral with your legs in the air at this point, then you can go ahead and do so. Or you could take this to an imprint, which I'm going to go ahead and do. Bringing my legs up to tabletop position. So these two exercises come in quite a ways into the intermediate content. So you will be quite warm by the time you get to these, just so you know. So the legs are going to start reaching out. You're going to take your legs wherever you can keep your low back from arching off of the mat. Now, just like with jackknife, we're going to be using a long inhale to roll all the way over. So from here, I'm going to exhale, just like jackknife, and lift my legs up by using my glutes and hamstrings, my hip extensors. Now, then my hands are going to come into contact with the pelvis. Now, I know it may look as if I'm holding my hips up, but I'm not. I'm not sitting in my hands. My hands are simply here as a positional reminder, okay? So that all happened on an exhale. So I'm going to inhale to stay. And then as I exhale, we're going into scissors, just like we do when we're laying on the mat. And there's a pulse, pulse. You'll inhale as they pass each other. Exhale, exhale. Inhale as you pass. So the split, you want to control the leg forward and the leg going away. If you do too much in either direction, you're going to find that your spine wants to go with that. So keep in mind that you should not be feeling your triceps working during this. So I'm not holding my hips up. Again, if I were to take my hands away, ideally I'd be able to support myself in this position. Okay, so now I'm going to inhale back up to the jackknife position, and I'm going to exhale and roll down just like I did with jackknife. So I can either roll down, leaving my legs away from me, or I can flex my hips and bring my legs on in. Okay, so that was scissors in the air. Then we go into bicycle in the air. We get into that the exact same way. We inhale, hinge into the rollover. Now, exhale, once again, I'm coming up. Now, this time I'm going to inhale right into one of my scissors. Now I'm going to stay here. The leg that's away from me is going to bend at the knee. So I flexed that knee. Then I pull that leg through, split the other way. Flex the knee, pull the leg through, inhale to split. So as I bend this knee away from me, the temptation is going to be to bring the knee on close to you. So resist that initially. Initially, it's just a hamstring curl. So the thigh bone has not moved yet. Once you bend the knee, then you'll pass through. Same thing. Thinking heel to my bum. Now this one, more than scissors in the air, is a little more tempting to sit in the arm because the weight of the lower body gets quite heavy when you bend the knee. Your weight wants to go back that way. So we inhale into the split, exhale to bend, inhale into the split, exhale to bend. Let's say this is our last one. What we do is we join at the top with an inhale back to jackknife, and then we exhale to come on down. And then you can give your knees a quick little hug in. Okay, so the next new exercise is teaser. So this particular teaser is moving into the advanced repertoire. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my head pad back into place here. We're going to only do one. There's actually 3 different versions in our manual. There may actually be 4, and I'm blocking one of them out. But the one we're going to do starts with the legs straight and extended out. The arms are overhead. So we're going to roll all the way up, kind of like the roll up, except what's going to happen, and I'm going to kind of show you here real quickly, is right about the time I hit my imprint, that's when my legs are going to lift. That's important. Do not try to pick your legs up before you hit that imprint position. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to have to pick up bent knees. So when I roll through, my knees are going to come up bent. You are welcome to leave your legs nice and long and straight. I know my body today is not going to be cooperating with that. So I'm going to 4 breath. I'm breathing in as I reach. As I exhale and I start to roll through, there's that imprint, and that's when I'm going to pick up my legs. Now, I grabbed onto mine because I had a little bit of back discomfort there, but that's not actually what you do. I'm coming to tabletop. My arms would be right here. Again, you may be fine with your legs straight. Now, the rest of this exercise is that chest lift that we're familiar with already. And then I'm going to roll back down. Now, as I roll down, I'm rolling away from my legs, away from my legs. I'm going to go ahead and let my legs straighten back out. I go through my imprint, then my legs touch. So that's important. Imprint before the legs lift, imprint before the legs touch on the way up and down. So I'm going to just go through with breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. You could also go all the way up on an inhale and all the way down on an exhale. I'm going to do one more, and I'm still going to 4 breath. Breathe in. Exhale. And down. Okay, now for some of you, you may find that actually easier than the intermediate version that we did with the legs in the air the whole time. Some of that can just depend on the length of your upper body versus the length of your lower body, or strength. So I personally find that one a little bit easier than the one with my legs in the air. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to an advanced version of swan dive. Now, I'm actually just going to be progressing us through another intermediate version here. The full advanced swan would require you to be able to do this particular version of intermediate before doing it. So that's what we're going to do. My legs are shoulder distance apart. They're laterally rotated. So all that's the same, all that start position stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to inhale up into our swan dive position. Now, just like with the slow rock, I'm going to have you begin there. We initiate by lifting the legs. I pulled my mat backwards. I rocked down to my breaststroke prep 1 position. My legs are still lifted. Now, while you're here, I want you to reach your arms out. Palms facing up. Eye gaze is a little forward. This is the position we're going to do a rock into. Now start to lift your chest, plant the hands, and lift the spine back up. That's going to be quite dynamic in a moment. Let's go slow again. Slow rock, lifting the legs. Scoop the arms out. They kind of slide along the mat, palms are up. Try to lift your chest as the hands plant and you lift back up. And then I'm going to bring us back down for a moment. So, if what I'm about to do feels a little bit too far of a progression, then keep that slow rock without the dynamicness of this. Okay, so what's going to happen is that position that I had you go into with the arms, we're actually going to do a quick rock into it, and then we're going to catch and lift. So, this particular version is called rock and catch. So what's going to happen is I'm going to lift my legs, start to go down, my arms are going to scoop up, and then I'm going to come back and catch this position. So I'm going to exhale, inhale up, inhale up. So notice my hands are sliding along the mat, inhale up. And then I'm going to lower all the way down. And we are going to take a shell stretch. So that one is very dynamic because of the tempo. The most common thing that will happen on that is as you rock forward, you're going to want to drop your head. Just like with the slow rock, it's the exact same temptation. So just be mindful of that. And then we're going to roll back up and out of this. Okay, so the next new exercise we're going to do is called leg pull. So we did a leg pull front that was done in a plank position. This one is going to be done kind of in a reverse push-up style position. So your hands are going to be behind you, your fingers are pointing side, so they're out. Your legs can be laterally rotated, or they can be parallel. And that's just a preference. You'll see when you get up there if you really kind of prefer one over the other. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to roll our hips up off the mat and balance on our arms and on our feet. So let's do that a couple times. Take a breath in. Exhale, start to curl the pubic bone, engage the glutes to lift the hips up. You're trying to drive the hips up close to neutral as possible. And then soften to come back down. So we'll do that again. Pubic bone curls, push the floor away. So think of trying to get your spine as neutral as you can, but your head is definitely nodded forward. I want your eye gaze at the wall in front of you. And then coming back down. You may choose to simply stay with that. What's going to happen now is we're going to go up and we're going to add some alternating leg lifts. It's going to look a little bit like shoulder bridge. So we're here. Let's roll back up. Now immediately let's do a quick little check. I want you to push down into one leg, lift the glute, and just pick up one leg. Put it back down. Do the other side. Okay, what I wanted you to find there is, does that cause any discomfort in the back of the knee? If you have hypermobility here, it will not feel good. So what you will do is either choose to omit that part, or when we get to the leg choreography, you're going to bend one knee and put that foot on the floor to lift the other leg. And that'll alleviate that temptation. So, here's what we're going to do. One leg comes up, that's going to be an exhale. Inhale, flex to lower. Exhale, point to lift. Inhale, flex to lower. Exhale, point to lift. Here's the last one. Inhale, flex to lower. Transfer the weight to the other side. Exhale, inhale. The way I remember the breathing on this is that it's opposite shoulder bridge. Exhale up, inhale down, and then we lower back down. Okay, so that is leg pull. Okay, so now what we're going to do is an exercise called control balance. This is actually my favorite mat exercise, and on days when my back is not fatigued, I thoroughly enjoy it, so I'm not sure what my sense of it today is going to be. So this is, again, going to have a rollover component in it, a jackknife component in it, and a scissor component in it. But it's all done with the arms over the head. Now, I'm going to talk about that a little bit. So we're going to choose our neutral or our imprint. We're bringing our legs up, and we're going to send them out to where you're comfortable. For me right now, that's there, so that's where I'm going to go. Now the arms come overhead. Now, I personally cannot put my arms on the floor without losing my spinal positioning in my upper back. So I'm going to leave my arms a little lifted. If you can put your arms on the floor and not just limp and lazy, there's energy in them, then you can go right ahead. So the arms are going to remain here. So now what's going to happen is the legs are going into the rollover position from here. So we have our hinge into the rollover. Okay, now I'm going to come back down. So without your arms beside you to help leverage the lifting of the legs, that is quite difficult to do. So hinge and hinge and hinge until you cannot hinge anymore. So get your legs nice and over you. Then glutes, then abdominals. So I'm in my rollover position. Okay, now I'm going to come back down again because I want to give you an option in case you're not able to roll over with your arms over your head. What you would do is keep your arms down beside you, get to the rollover position, and then kind of paint the floor to get your arms back here. Okay, so now let's go from here. So here we are. Now I'm going to jackknife up. Remember, it's all glutes. From here, I scissor. One leg down, one leg up. Now my hands are going to go and search for my ankle. That is optional. You could just leave your arms out of this. Exhale. The balance part of this is that I cannot do more with one leg than the other, or my whole body is going to go in that direction. So I'm reaching one leg up, one leg down. That's on an exhale. I inhale as they scissor. Let's make this our last one. Exhale. Now I'm going to inhale back to the jackknife position, and then I'm going to roll down. Now as I roll down, I'm reaching my arms away to counter my legs. And it feels quite nice. Okay, and then circle the arms around, bring the legs in towards you. Okay, so we have another exercise done right from this position that goes into another rollover position. Now, for this particular exercise, I'm going to talk to you about what the legs are doing, because you're going to go into the rollover and then you shift. You roll down one side of the spine, go through the center, roll up the other side of the spine, recenter, and then go again. I'm going to give you a little trick about how to do this without getting into a lot of rotation of the spine. Now, you may or may not be happy to know that your hands are back down beside you. Arms are reaching out. So we do our long inhale again. We're in our rollover. So what I'm going to have you do is shift your legs to one side. So what I think of is I think of taking one of my big toes and sliding it into kind of the edge of the other foot. So I've made one foot longer than the other. Now don't overthink it, just roll down. You will naturally bias to that side. Now once you get down to the bottom, let your legs draw a little half circle until you've done the same thing. I've made the outside leg longer than the inside leg, and I'm just going to roll over. Then I'm going to reset to the center, go back the way I just came. Shift, roll back down, shift, roll back up. Recenter, shift back to the side I just came. So it's a rollover, but it is going to go down one side of the erector spinae and up the other. Now this is going to be my last one, so this time I'm going to find the center and I'm just going to roll all the way back down the middle. Now give your knees a quick little hug in. Okay, we're going to get off our backs for a bit, come out of all of that rolling work, and we're going to go into an exercise called side kick kneeling. So the choreography of the leg is just like side kick when you're laying down on the mat, but we're going to be kneeling for this. So I know you're going to lose my head here for just a second, but bear with me. Take one leg out and tip over to one side. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. My hand, my knee, my pubic bone, and that foot all in the same line with each other. The pubic bone thing's key, because I can tell you immediately what's going to want to happen is your bum's going to want to go backwards. So you want to keep kicking that hip forward. Now what we're going to do initially is just leave this hand on the hip. I want you to think of making this top leg so long it lifts up. And no, it does not have to go parallel to the floor. It can be lower. But what I want you to watch for is I don't want you to lift up this leg and shift and put more weight on the hand. You will do that in an effort to check out of here. So scoop and lift. Now this hand can stay on the hip for feedback. It could also go to the forehead or behind the head. So I'm going to go ahead and put mine on the forehead, flex this foot, kick forward 1, 2, point, pull back. Keep your pubic bone forward there. Don't let your booty go backwards when you're kicking the leg forward. You're thinking sit bone away from the back of the knee, but you don't want the pelvis to move. So 1, a little further, 2, reach back. On the surface, this can look like a really easy exercise, and if you're feeling that way about it, there's chance that you are compensating somewhere. So let's bring that leg down. You're going to push yourself up, and we are going to go ahead and do the other side on this one just to go through that once again. Foot out, hand down. So we have hand, knee, foot, pubic bone, all in the same line. Scoop the leg long to lift. Again, hand can be at the hip or the forehead. I'm going to go ahead and kind of feel what my hip's doing here. 1, 2, and back. My hip's a little tired today, so I'm going to bring my leg just a little lower. I could feel myself straining. But I've picked a height that feels achievable without me compensating, and I'm going to leave it at that height, forward and back. One more time. Inhale, 2, and exhale. And then again, you can take that toe to the floor. You could bend the knee, which makes it a little easier to navigate up, and then you would tip right over from one side to the other side. Okay, so now what we're going to go into is an exercise called twist. So we have 2 more new ones. They're big ones. This one does require that you've been able to do side bend. So at the intermediate level, if side bend was not quite in your wheelhouse yet, you will not do this particular exercise just yet. Okay, has a little more choreography involved in it. So what we're going to do is come down. We set it up just like side bend. Heel in line with sit bone, up the bottom cheek, in line with hand. And here's the arm. So we're going to come up on an inhale just like we were going to do side bend. The only thing that's different is going to be this top arm. So what's going to happen is I'm going to push up into my side bend position, but notice my arm did not go over my head. My arm stopped at a T. Now I'm going to thread the needle, push back with my arm, pike my hips up. Now I'm going to come back to that side bend position. Watch that you don't try to drop your hip here. You won't have room. So again, T. Now I'm going to leave my hips here and I'm going to rotate my spine. I'm going to follow my arm backwards with my eye gaze. Now I'm going to come up. There's the side bend, you know. And then we come back down. Okay? So with breath, we inhale up. Inhale. T the arms. Exhale, thread the needle. Inhale, back to the T. Exhale, rotate the spine. Inhale, side bend. Exhale, down. Okay, let's go ahead and do a couple on the other side. There's always a difference in the 2 sides, so you may find a vulnerability on one side you didn't have on the other. Hand, hip, heel. Exhale to prepare. We inhale, we're coming up. Side bend with the T. Exhale, thread the needle and pike. Inhale, come back to the side bend. Now right here, rotate the spine. Don't get excessive with the arm. You're not pulling the arm backwards, you're twisting the spine, and eye gaze follows that hand. Then you inhale back, arm overhead, and then you find the mat. Okay? One more of those. Exhale to prepare. Inhale to lift up. Push. Side bend with T. Exhale, thread the needle. Inhale back. Side bend T. Exhale, rotate. Inhale overhead. And then exhale all the way back down. Okay, last one we're going to do is boomerang. Boomerang, again, just like a lot of the other advanced work, is going to be a combination of exercises. Unfortunately, it's going to be another combination of the rollover, but this time it's a rollover combined with teaser. So here's what happens. You're starting with your ankles crossed, hands on the mat beside you, and you're flexed over your thighs. Think of your intention through this entire bit of choreography as being, I want to keep my chest and my thighs in the same relationship the whole time. That may not happen, but that's what your goal is. So if you're trying to think of, okay, what's going where, when. Now initially you will have to use your arms to assist you because you're going to have to push into the mat, and if you want to watch one of these first, you can. I'm going to exhale to push into my rollover. Now I inhale and I switch the crisscross. Now on this exhale, I'm going to roll down with my legs and I'm going to come up with my upper body in the teaser. So notice I'm following my legs. My hands are going to slide along the mat. So there's my teaser, arms up. Arms are going to circle back. As the legs lower, I'm going with them. Swim the arms around until the backs of the hands meet, if that's appropriate. If it's too tight in your shoulders, don't force that. And then the hands come back down. We go again. So let's go together on this one. Push with the hands, lift the legs, exhale all the way over. Inhale, switch the crisscross. Now as you exhale, start to roll down, lift the upper body, slide your hands along the mat. You can do a balance check right there. Lift them when you feel ready. Circle the arms back, follow the legs down, circle the arms around with an inhale. So I'm going to cue the breath more clearly. Exhale, push over. Inhale, switch the crisscross. Exhale to roll up. Ooh, I got stuck. You can also bend your knees here to teaser. Exhale, circle the arms back. Inhale, control your landing there. And I'm sorry, I messed up the breath there. That's an exhale. Inhale, circle the arms around. Hands back down beside you. Now let me cue the breath more clearly. Exhale, push to roll over. Inhale, switch. Exhale to roll up. Inhale, start to circle the arms back. Exhale, follow the legs down. Arms go backwards. Inhale, swim the arms around. Let's do one more. Exhale, push to roll. Inhale, switch. Exhale to roll up. Inhale, circle. Exhale, land. Inhale, swim. And now exhale to rebuild. Whew. And then from there, you would finish with the push-up. Okay, so that was our advanced Pilates mat, new exercise detailed instructions. So please feel free to go through this a few times. Hopefully you'll get better and better at it. Better than me for sure. So if you are dealing with any kind of mobility issues or any limitation issues through the spine, please be gentle with your body and take care of yourself. You can follow some of the modifications that I did do in this video because I was having to do a little bit of caution work on myself. If you've gone through this a few times, you're feeling pretty good, you want to see what it's like to interject this into the flow, go right ahead. And just like with the intermediate flow video, if there are certain exercises that do not feel appropriate yet, skip them. They're only going to last maybe a minute, 90 seconds, and then you can catch right back up and in. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email at bodypotentialtraining@gmail.com. Thank you so much.